exploring the incredible transformations of Singapore. This is Remarkable Reveals. The Fullerton Hotel Singapore is a 5-star luxury hotel located near the mouth of the Singapore River in the downtown core of Singapore. It is 9 floors and covers over 40,000 square meters, developed by the Far East Organization, as well as Sino Land Company Limited, and owned by Precious Treasure. The Fullerton Hotel was designated National Monument of Singapore in December 2015. It was originally known as the Fullerton Building, as well as the General Post Office. It was named after Robert Fullerton, the first governor of the Straits Settlements. The northern end of Fullerton Building covers the site of Fort Fullerton, which was a fort built in 1829 to defend against any attacks. Merchants thought that it was a waste to use the prime location of the city for military purposes instead of trading. As well as this, important offices along the banks of the Singapore River were in direct line of fire if there were any attacks on the fort. It was also said that the fort couldn't defend against naval attacks. Following these criticisms, Fort Fullerton was then torn down in 1873. The fort gave way to the Fullerton Building, first built in 1874. Its reconstruction began in 1924 and was completed in June 1928 by Perry & Co., a manufacturing company from England. The new Fullerton Building consisted of 5 parts: the General Post Office, the Exchange, the Singapore Club, what became the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and the Marine Department. It also housed various government departments dealing with agriculture, fishing, forestry, and more. The General Post Office sorted, delivered, and received all mail in Singapore, as well as dealing with overseas mail, most of them from England. Everything had to be sorted by hand, and the process was extremely slow, with packages requiring at least 2 months to reach the UK. The exclusive Singapore Club rented premises on the upper floors of the Fullerton Building to provide for their members' need and comfort. It only allowed top European people who are wealthy and powerful in business or industry to enter. The Singapore Club included rooms where they dined, lounged, relaxed, and played games, as well as serve as a hotel for accommodation. When the Economic Development Board, or EDB, was formed in 1961, it evicted the Singapore Club from the Fullerton Building, later relocated to Battery Road to make room for more government offices. In the last days before Britain's surrender to Japan in 1942, Fullerton Building was used as a hospital, with makeshift operation rooms for the wounded British soldiers. As well as this, General Arthur Percival, a Lieutenant General in the British Army, discussed with the Governor of Singapore, Sir Shenton Thomas, about surrendering to the Japanese in the Fullerton Building. A few years later, in the 1950s, the Fullerton Building became recognized as an unofficial public monument. It was the most prominent feature of the waterfront. On the roof stood the Fullerton Lighthouse, which was a beacon that guided all the ships that were approaching the harbour. Fullerton Building became somewhat like a symbol of Singapore. It appeared on postcards and was recognized by people from all over the world. Singapore was remembered everywhere with the image of the Fullerton Building. In 1965, Singapore's independence ceremony took place in Fullerton Square, with the Fullerton Building in the background. The General Post Office vacated the Fullerton Building in March 1996. Sino Land Company then bought the Fullerton Building from its previous owner, the Urban Redevelopment Authority, or the URA. Sino Land Company spent almost another 300 million Singapore dollars converting the Fullerton Building into the hotel that it is now, as well as building One Fullerton, a commercial complex opposite Fullerton Road. Renovation works on the Fullerton Building were completed on 8th December 2000. The Fullerton Hotel Singapore was then officially opened on the 1st of January 2001 by the Prime Minister. To ensure that the historical Fullerton Building is still visible from Marina Bay, the URA specified a lower building height for One Fullerton, 2 floors. This rule also ensures that the Fullerton Hotel guests have unobstructed views of the sea. The Fullerton Hotel Singapore has over 400 rooms and suites, a 25-meter infinity swimming pool, a fitness center, and a luxury spa. It also has 5 food and beverage outlets to provide for their guests' needs. And for those on business trips, the Fullerton Hotel includes 15 meeting rooms with conference facilities. The Fullerton Hotel is a beautiful sight to see, with historic origins deeply in the hearts of the people of Singapore. A historic national monument, well preserved and transformed into one of the most famous hotels and resorts the island has ever known.